sometimes you just got to get started.
Yeah, because I use that David Goggins guys.
Oh, you saw David Goggins?
I mean, I just use his mindset that ambition to do something.
He's intense, man.
So that's why I combine with my exercise, which is really work.
Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, we are going to get into it. My ex wanted marriage. Common theme, common story. But this is a different person in a different part of the world that has their own storyline to it all. And Real Stories Unpacked is back. So these are stories that have been sent into writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. If you want to send in your story and have me unpack it in a live stream like this, in a public YouTube video, I'll go through your whole story and give you my take. There is a fee involved of $25, but I think it's worth it because even on the live stream, what happens a lot of times, and the people that come on regularly on the live stream are probably sick of me saying this, but people come on, hey, can I ask a question? Absolutely. A lot of times I can't really answer your question because now that I've been doing this for a while and I consider myself a professional and someone that goes above and beyond to help someone with their breakup, I can't give you advice when you say, should I do no contact with my ex? They just left yesterday. What? What happened? Oh, well, it's a long story. What do you think? Okay. Someone in the Discord just had, and if you want to join my Discord, Coach Mac McCarthy, the link is at the top of this live stream right here. I believe you can just go to that link and you can be in the Discord. So, and we can have an ongoing chat with other people that come to my channel. It's a really good tool. Check it out. But going back to getting your story unpacked, it's important because like this individual in the Discord, he just started going, well, my, number one, this is what people do. Well, my story's different. You've never seen anything like this before. Well, your story is going to be different because there's only one of you in the world. This is the thing about human beings. There's only one of you in the world. So the way you look at things, the way you see things are going to be a little bit different. It's kind of like if you follow any kind of sport. I'm into basketball and professional basketball, NBA basketball. You'll get a player drafted and they'll go, oh, his game is similar to Michael Jordan. His game is similar to this person. In reality, no one's going to have the same exact game. If I go up to a woman in a shopping mall and approach her because I find her attractive, Aleph goes and approaches her, John Johnson goes and approaches her, everyone's going to have a slightly different approach. Someone go, oh, you got a similar approach. Because people are different because they see the world differently and interpretations are different. And that's what shines through when you write out your story. And writing out your story, someone will go, oh, yeah, I've seen that before. And then when you take the time to write it out in sequence, you start to reveal to yourself what really went down and why. When you start just throwing darts in the wind and going, oh, she left me, we were together for 10 years, she played on me, she smacked me in the mouth a couple times, she did this. It's like, okay, start from the top. And that's why on the live stream, I'll invite people to call in. And today, if someone has a situation they want to call in on Skype, I'm open to it today. I got a lot of juice. It's the new year. I had some good coffee this morning. I'm feeling strong. So if you want to call in through Skype, I will take a call. That being said, you do need to email me first your story. Because what happens when people call in is they just go all over the place. And it's a hot mess. And people listening are like, oh, where's this person going? It's because you haven't thought out what went down and why. And for me to give you some good advice, we can just have a conversation like you do with friends that's highly emotion-based. But what happens when you write out your stories, you have to get reasonable. You have to put together full sentences. You have to make sense of things, not just go on pure emotion. So if you want to send in your story, go to writemac.com. Oh, Johnny, first one on deck. Always a pleasure. New Jersey's finest. I hope you're well out there. I know you're in the medical field of some sort. I hope you're doing okay. I haven't been following what's going down with, we're not going to get into COVID, but you're on the front lines, I take it, and I hope you're okay, bud, because you're good people, oh, Johnny. We've done a live coaching before, and I like you, bud. Okay, so first story today. This person sent in their story, I believe 2 days ago. So sometimes it takes me a day or two to get to. But this individual does come to the live stream sometimes, and I told him numerous times, hey, man, send your story in. So here's the interesting thing when you send in your story, too. Some people go, oh, it's too long. It's too long. It's like, no, put everything in. I mean, as long as it's not like a book. Write it all out, reread it. And when I say reread it, give it a quick edit just to go back through. Does this make sense? You know, you're not writing this for the New York Post, but you're writing it with some kind of care because you're asking for my help. So in order for me to help you, it needs to be coherent. So are you ready? We got 8 on deck. I almost want to start when there's 10 on deck. What do you guys think? Aleph, do you like story time?
It depends on what kind of story.
Some of the stories aren't good for you.
Yeah.
The written ones are usually a little bit better than when people just call in and they just go off, right? Because when people go off on the call-ins, it can be fun, but it's not in order sometimes. But this one, to be completely honest, when a story comes in, most of the time, this might surprise people, I don't read them all the way through. I'll read the first paragraph to get an idea of what kind of title we're going to put on the live stream. But I like to read the stories live because then you can see my reaction. And it won't be one of those things like, ooh, because sometimes I've actually read stories out of my 900 videos where I'm on the air and I'm like, oh, I don't think I can say that. I should have read this first because there's some crazy stuff that goes down. All right, so we got 10 on deck. Ding, 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 ding. I think we can start the story now. So, hello, hey, coach, my name is, I don't share names on the stories. I just turned 29 this past November. My current ex is 28 years old. Well, that's a fine age to be. You're still in your 20s with a lot of wisdom, I hope. And that's about the age I had one of my worst breakups, was about 27, 28 years old. There's something called Saturn's return. If you're into astrology, that's something to look up. I remember when I was 28 and I was going through it, not only through a breakup, but just my job, some other things, and everyone goes, oh, it's Saturn's return. Have you ever heard of this, Aleph?
No.
Saturn's return is actually they say that's the true, astrology, right? The stars and whatnot. They say that's a turning point in your life if things aren't good at 28 years old. This has something to do with the moons around Saturn and all this other stuff, that you're going to have big problems in your life. So be ready because you got 5 years till you're 28, dude.
In Thai, we believe in on 25.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
Okay. And the Saturn's return says if you're not in the right place, you're going to have crisis.
Yeah.
And I had it.
Our crisis point on 25, that we believe.
And I definitely had it. Right on, Sess. Welcome, hon. Happy New Year, Roller Girl. Happy New Year. Oh, Johnny, we're going to get into it.
What was that word again?
Saturn's return.
Oh. Okay.
So you can just look it up. It's just doesn't matter to me anymore because I'm nowhere near 28. But they say about 28, if you don't got things right, you're going to have a crisis about that age. We were together for a year and a half, and we have been broken up since this past July, so about 6 months or so. So this is someone that actually read my website on how to write a story because immediately they gave the age and they gave how many years they've been together, which is very, very, very important just to start your story, right? How old are you? How long have you been together? That gives me a nice base. If you go into your story, people sometimes on a live coaching call that don't want to write their story, they'll be going, I go, excuse me, how long have you been together? Excuse me, how old are you? Because it counts about your story, right? Like I need to know that. It's a big part. We were together for a year and a half. We have been broken up since this past July, so about 6 months or so. So let me start off by saying that there is 2 sides to every story, so I'll do my best to explain. I'm glad you realize that. I'm glad you understand that, but here's the thing, sir. Your side of the story counts for me. Because in order for me to help you, I need to know your interpretation. I'm not going to be able to go to her and get hers. This isn't divorce court. This isn't I'm a judge and I'm giving out assets. Here's what I do. I just lead with good intentions and honesty, and just go, I'm going to do my best to give you an honest take and help you. And that might be giving you advice that hurts you. I mean, when I say it hurts you, like hurts your ego. That might be giving you advice that you don't want to hear sometimes, or that might be reassuring you that you're on the right track. I've had a lot of clients where literally I'm like, you're doing the right thing right now. And they need that because they're not sure. So you might think, oh, I was already doing the right thing. You didn't really give me. Sometimes you need to know that actually you're doing the right thing. Actually, you didn't fuck up. Actually, you're not a bad person. The circumstances are what made this happen. You still need to be accountable and responsible, but you don't want to beat yourself up. My current ex and I broke up this past July over the fact that she does not want to do long distance again. So that's a clear-cut problem that isn't fixable right away. Long distance has an expiration date on it. Some people can go a year. Some people can go 2 years. People will not be in long distance relationships for 15, 20 years. I've had a client last year. They had a great relationship for 10 years. They went into long distance. The relationship crumbled within a year. He was shocked. He was astounded. He couldn't believe it. I said, have you been in long distance before? No, but we were in love. Okay. Some people can stay in long distance, and some people, it's curtains really, really early. You're opening up the opportunity to meet someone else. You're opening up the opportunity to feel what it's like without you and not necessarily need the other person as much. So long distance relationships have a shelf life. And if that's a continuous thing you do, eventually one person gets tired of it and the other person goes, what's wrong? Because I'll add to the long distance thing. If you're going into an environment where you have a lot of opportunities to meet someone else, if you're going into an environment where you're really happy, and they're staying in an environment where they're not so happy, or they don't have an opportunity to meet a lot of other people, there will be more jealousy. So for example, let's say someone goes long distance with someone lives in New York City and someone lives in Oklahoma on a farm. The person in Oklahoma on a farm isn't going to have as many candidates to replace you or attention, so they're going to grasp to the relationship stronger and have a lot more issues. The person in New York City is probably going to be in a situation where they have more options. I'm just giving you an example. The reason for the long distance is because I play professional baseball overseas in Europe for 6 months. So this is really interesting. I didn't know they had professional baseball in Europe. I know Japan does. I know Korea does. This is interesting to me. But right on, if you're still in your late 20s and you play pro sports, anything, do it till the wheels fall off, man, because that's a privilege, dude. I don't care if you're not MLB. The camaraderie involved in sport and doing something you love like that, good for you, man. That's really interesting. And the fact that you can go play overseas. I knew people that played professional basketball in Japan that were making like 50, 60 grand. They weren't even that good compared to D1 college players. I remember playing with them at the YMCA. I'm like, this guy got a contract to play in Japan. But on the flip side, I thought, good for you. That is fucking cool, man. You get to experience another culture, another place to live, and you get to play a pro sport. That's cool. This past year was supposed to be the 4th year of playing, but due to Corona, the season was canceled. Shit happens. The other major reason is also that I'm not fulfilling all her needs and wants. Okay, so to be very clear, do you line up with what she needs and wants? In other words, are you like, yeah, that's something I do want to give you. It would be my pleasure. You have to ask yourself, are these reasonable things, or are these just things I don't want to do? Her needs and wants are the typical things what society sees: the house, marriage, living together, and starting a family. Well, late 20s for most women, the biological clock is ticking. I'd say most women do want those things in most cultures. So yeah, call it a society sees it, call it what a lot of females do. But yeah, here's the thing. If you don't like those things, abort the mission, man. You got a choice. In my late 20s, I wasn't ready for marriage. Just wasn't. Just didn't have an interest in it. Hence, I haven't been married since. Now, I'm not against it as much now at my age now. Just a different person at this point in my life. So sometimes it's just timing. You do not want to negotiate marriage specifically as something like, oh, I got to marry her or she's going to leave. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. This is not something you give into for someone to stay with them. Because especially if you're in America or one of these other places, you are putting yourself in a position that if you do get divorced, there's a lot of shit that can go down. Which by all means, those are all the things that I eventually want in the future. So this is really key. Eventually I want. So this just tells me at 29 years old, being someone that plays pro ball in Europe, you're just not ready. That's okay. You've been with this woman a year and a half. If you want to break up now, you're going to heal a lot quicker than if you're together 3, 4, or 5 years. I would not sacrifice this cookie cutter dream of a house, marriage, living together, because it almost, and starting a family, it almost sounds like the way you're saying it is typical things what society sees. Interpretation on my end. This is what society sees, not what I see. Not right now. Don't do it if you don't want to. I've had clients, yeah, she really wants a kid, but I'm not really ready. Don't have a fucking kid. It takes 2 to 10. Like, so what? You're going to end up being a neglectful dad? Don't do it. These are big decisions. There are other women in their late 20s, early 30s that will meet you and go, oh, I'm not ready for marriage either. I got a lot on deck myself. If you're a pro ball player in Europe, I think you have other options. Explore them. We did the distance in the summer of 29. We pulled it through and it was hard, but we lasted. Okay, so if you've done it once and it was hard, don't think that you can do it again and again, because if it was hard once, it'll get worse next time. My season in 2020 was canceled due to Corona, so I was home. And it was nothing but ongoing arguments about me playing again. So she's basically saying, I don't want you to go again. I'm going to create a lot of friction over this until you give in. It's okay if you put baseball at age 29 first. I think that's where you're at. If you've already put in 4 years, it's pro ball, it's Europe, it's your passion, it's your purpose. You know you can't play forever. I would ride, like I said, ride it till the wheels come off on that one, man. That's one of those things. If you quit now to get married in a year or 2 years, when in marriages, a lot of them, not all of them, can get stale. And if she put a gun to your head and said, do this or else I'll break up with you, and you give in, just lost your balls and your dignity. Doesn't line up with a ball player. No pun intended. It really got annoying and it would really piss me off. I have a lot of patience, to be honest, but hearing negative comments about me playing again just got so annoying to the point where I wouldn't want to see her and ignore her. I know that many people, family and friends, support me in playing except my current ex. Well, that's a good reason to break up then.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yeah. And I bet the fact that, I'm just guessing, if you're in the States and you're playing pro ball in Europe, it's not as prestigious. It's not as, someone's going, oh, but you play in Europe or something like that. I don't even know if they have that on TV, right? But to you, it's grand. I've talked about this before. I loved basketball as a kid. I went to camps. I played every day from age 8, probably up to age 12, every day after school. And then for middle school, I was on a team. I was a starter. We had a pretty good team. It was the time of my life. We won first place in 8th grade. We won tournaments. Those feelings that I got during those years of playing basketball is the same feeling probably Michael Jordan or someone else gets when they win the finals. It's camaraderie, it's winning, it's fun. And so don't fight this shit. There's going to be another woman that likes a 29-year-old guy that plays pro ball in Europe. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, do not settle on this, and do not. What happens with a lot of individuals is her negative comments are, she doesn't know this, but she's subconsciously trying to steer you and manipulate you and make you feel bad about what you do to get what she wants. Don't buy it.
I would say he did right, because he doing what he like. He have passion on it. So if he follow what she said, he will lose his attraction too.
That's a good point, Aleph. You're learning a lot on this show. I like it.
Growing up more.
Yeah, absolutely. So in July, it really hit my breaking point and her breaking point. arguments kept happening, then our past issues would get brought up for no reason, then the comments about me not wanting anything serious in a relationship got brought up, and not wanting a family, getting engaged, and having a baby. See, those are things that you're 29 years old, you got a pro ball job abroad, you're not ready, you're not interested, doesn't mean you won't do it. She is. Agree to disagree and move on. I know that sounds point blank, but if you give in on this and the relationship doesn't work out, which, by the way, you will have contempt if you give in on this. So the minute that a year later, 2 years later, you got a baby, you got a house, you got this, you take a job you don't really like, maybe you could, I mean, the ideal thing to me is you segue into coaching high school or junior college or something like that. You stay in the sport if you're really into it, right? Umpiring, whatever. That being said, you got to play this out, dude. You're 29. You got a few good years of pro ball left, right? You only get, you know what I mean? That your life's like a book. This would be a turning point in the book where you go, shouldn't have done that. Your intuition's saying no, 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 no. She's saying yes, 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 and then culturally you're saying this is what society says. Well, fuck what society says. Be your own person, right? We have the internet now. We can figure things out in a different way. We don't need to just hear. We don't just need to hear from the village. Just the same comments and the same arguments lasting from March 2020, July 2020, every other couple of days. Plus, you had Corona lockdown in our city, not being able to do regular things, and curfew hours. So when lockdown happened, are you living together would be my question. During our breakup in July, she never gave me the space I needed. After going no contact for 3 days, the same arguments got brought up, never resolved. I was constantly ignoring her simply because I didn't want to argue or hear any negativity. Well, the problem is you have the same problem because she's not getting what she wants. It's like a little kid that wants an ice cream, and mom goes, no. Mom goes, no. You're not getting one. My parents were very good when I was a kid. I learned really early. I wasn't deprived. We were middle class. To lower middle class, but never like went without anything. But like if we went to the store and there was like a toy section and there's toy sections and you're a little kid, my mom would just go no. So I just learned. I remember when I got babysat as a kid, that one of the kids we got babysat with would ask the babysitter for all these like little toys and ice creams and shit, and I would be like, "What are you doing asking for that?" Because my mom just set the tone. No. Christmas, birthdays, you get gifts. Not a lot, but you get some stuff you like. But just to go to the supermarket and get a toy? No. Right? What this woman's doing right now, she's like the little kid, like, it's like, I already told you I'm not quitting baseball. I already told you I don't want to get married or have kids right now. Right? To be honest with you, there's not a whole lot to think about this, bud. It's going to hurt. But it sounds like she's throwing a guilt net on you. I don't know how you're even sticking around. Because if I had to guess, in your late 20s, if you did a temperature read on this, like I like to do, what's the intimacy or attraction level, 1 to 10? I bet it's like a 9 or 10. And that's what's carrying the day. And then the next thing, chemistry and connection. It's obviously off because you guys have different points of views. So that would probably be like a 5 or a 6. Trust, I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust? Maybe you go, oh, I trust her. You can't have a long-term relationship without good connection and without trust. Your attraction must be carrying the day. Otherwise, why would you stay in something like this? Good question. Finally, August 2020 came around. I had some time to reflect on myself and see what I could have done better in our relationship. There were a couple of things that I could have done better, but sometimes our ego gets the best of us. And I was able to reflect in that and ask myself, why did I act or say that at the point in time? So I'm just going to go ahead and say the reason you acted this way, above all, you don't want to get married and you don't want to have kids and you don't want to give up your baseball career. Corona set things back, but you're not going to go, oh, I'm never going to go overseas again to play ball. Those are 3 things you're dug in on that are reasons for you just to move forward and take your chances. All the other things are probably a little bit petty, to be quite frank. And I'll tell you what, if you get back together, you move in together, she's going to drill and hammer you till you marry her, get the house, have the kids. And if you don't do that, She's going to use this idea of you're not normal, society's like this, you're getting older, maybe your career, you know, how far is it going to go, et cetera, et cetera. She's going to break you down. Be your own man. And say to yourself, if we do break up, we go in all in on this. Am I capable of meeting someone equal or higher value? Not today, not tomorrow, but in the future? I think so. If you're 29 playing pro ball in Europe. Doesn't mean you don't love her. Doesn't mean you don't care about her. Doesn't mean you don't have a good connection. Doesn't mean you messed up. But there are some things that are non-negotiable. Like having a kid or getting married when you don't want to. That has to be your choice. You don't want one person in the relationship going, hey, we got to get married. It's time. And in the back of your head, you're like, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. Don't do it. Late August 2020, December, late August till December 2020, we still remained in contact almost every single day. She does the whole hot and cold, which is confusing, but that's how girls are. Not all girls are hot and cold. There's some weeks where I give up and completely give no effort and go no contact, but she still calls me. That's when she starts chasing and calling me more frequently. You're entangled in the net like a dolphin in a tuna net, man. And you think there's no way out. You're in a jail cell with the key. And you're like, she's doing this to me and then she's doing that. Get out. This isn't a good relationship. Take your chances. You're 29 years old. You're a professional athlete. Not all women are hot and cold. Not all women play this kind of game. When I start giving effort and pursuing little by little, not too much, that's when she starts the same arguments again about me playing and wanting to settle down and not wanting a serious relationship and how I'm not putting her needs and wants first. Yeah, you're not putting her needs and wants first because you have different ones. That's okay. Agree to disagree and move on. I don't usually say this is strong, but I appreciate how you wrote this story because this is really important. It's very clear what the problem is. She wants this, you don't want that. During our 6 months breakup, we have seen each other about 8 or 10 times. She rejected me maybe 4 invites. When we met up to go out to eat, everything fine, great. Then boom, later that night or the next day, the same arguments, same issues are brought up again from her about me playing and not wanting to settle down yet and not wanting to do the long distance thing. You got way too many things you won't agree with on her. If you give in to any of these things, you will regret it. I've told her a dozen times that I want in a relationship. Her response is, we want the same things, but I want them now and you want them after you're done playing. So it is best if we stop talking. I agree with her. Timing is everything. I've heard that line at least 1,000 times in these 6 months. So why haven't you walked away? What are you hanging on to? Because that line is very clear to me. And it's not going away. And there's a reason that you're not giving in. And the minute that you do, you just cut off all your dignity and your balls. I've heard that line 1,000. And I'm not saying marriage or kids are bad. Because I've had friends that they went that route at 20 and they're in great shape right now. They're doing great. They're doing great. It's something you need to want, not to be forced into. And I'm saying right now, if you stuck with professional baseball, you play overseas, see it out. Do the whole Bull Durham thing. Go all out. I think that's cool. And I think there's some women out there, if you give it a chance and stop trying to resuscitate a dead relationship that's going in dead ends, and take a chance on yourself and go, you know what? Let me just go all in on this breakup. Let me embrace being single. Let me take a shot at maybe meeting someone equal or higher value that actually agrees with my dream and what I do. Or let me just be single for a year and just give a serious relationship a break. Ask yourself this, dude. Why do you really keep going back to her? Is it loneliness? Is it at 28 you're like, it's been about 2 weeks, I need some intimacy? Be honest with yourself. Because it isn't this. I want to get married now, I want to have kids. It isn't that. And that's what she wants to hear. True or not true? My response every time is, all right, okay. Then I'll respect her comment. And then she gets upset and pissed because I don't call her. Tell me how that works, Mac. If a girl says we should stop talking, so don't call me anymore, let's cut ties. The same comment for every 6 months, every 3 days, but then she gets upset because I don't call her. You need to put this in your frame and quit letting her dictate the terms. She said this, she did that, she told me to call her, she did. Be done. This isn't healthy. You've only been in it a year and a half. And if this is the way she fights and argues, this is how she'll always fight and argue. Doesn't sound like she's very reasonable if she doesn't get her way. During these 6 months that I've tried my very best to go no contact, but she initiates contact if I don't call. Block her. I've done the best to respond and not react to her negative comments or anything that's brought up from the past. Why are you... I've done my best to not respond. That means you want to respond. That means you want to stick up for yourself. Just be done. I tried my best to show up as the person I am. I've done it. Yeah, showing up as a person I am is you going, I'm going to play baseball till I can't.
Good point.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's you showing up. And she's going, just let it go. Just let it go so we can get married and we can live a, cookie cutter lifestyle. We can have the picket fence and all that stuff. And I'm okay with that. You got to be on board, dude. I've done everything possible, I feel like. The only thing I haven't done is beg or chase her. The only thing you haven't done is gone, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to quit baseball. I'm not going to get married. I don't have a time frame on that. And I'm certainly not going to do it right now because right now you want to. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself meeting someone equal or higher value that you don't have to explain yourself to. It sounds like you like who you are. Yet someone's saying you're not a good person. She's the type of person who has to receive before she gives and has to have it her way or not. Is that someone you want to marry, let alone be in a shallow relationship of a year and a half with? I've put my foot down 3 times telling her to not contact me until she was able to respect me as a person, talk to me respectfully, and not belittle me until you let go of the past and could accept me as a person. If you don't want to do the distance, then that's okay with me. I've told her that this might be my last season. Maybe, I'm not sure, because there are other things I want to pursue in my life, not just baseball. Yeah, but you're not even married to the idea of you might do it for 2 years, but you don't want to make it her decision. Here's the thing. Stop playing not to lose. Go all in, go on offense, play to win, and go, I'm done. I'm betting on me. I'm blocking her number. I'm blocking her from all social media. Send her an email or a text and go, hey, this has run its course. I care about you. Shit, I even love you. Timing's wrong. You want this. I don't want that. I can't commit. I understand where you're coming from. I will no longer contact you, and I am blocking you from my number. This idea that, well, she keeps calling me. She keeps calling me. Block her. Because like I said, you're just getting entangled into manipulation over and over again. You're explaining yourself. You're explaining yourself over and over and over again for something you don't want. I understand she's 28. She's looking around and seeing everybody's life growing already. Everybody's getting engaged, married, pregnant. She feels left out or behind in life, especially when she compares herself to her cousins who are already settled down and have a family. I get it. I talk to women and men. And I have women that are in their early 30s that their biological clock's ticking. They're going nuts. I get it. I get it from a woman's standpoint. That doesn't mean you have to give in to something you don't want right now in your life. It's a big commitment for you to go, let's get married and have kids. If you don't want to do that, you certainly don't want gun to your head type tactics. Do it or else I break up with you. And by the way, that whole line where you wrote, she's the type of person who has to receive before she gives and has to have it her way or not. Marriage, no marriage, put all the other shit aside. Who wants to be with someone like that? You wrote that. Read it again. Do you want to be a doormat? Good question. She told me I'm putting my life on pause because you want to play baseball. That's a choice. She's doing something. She's saying it's your fault. You did this to me. Actually, she still has a choice in the matter. That gets me questioning myself. She's putting this pressure on me and trying to make me feel guilty because I'm not ready to settle down. She's making you feel guilty. You're not being strong and saying, I have some power here. Always come to this. Where's my power in this situation? Okay, I can block her. I can be done. I can stop explaining myself a 15th, 100th time. Or I can just come to the realization, this woman's not for me long term. I got to take my chances out there. I'm 29 years old. I'm a pro baseball player. There's other women that find me attractive. Yeah, this one was special. Yeah, this one was good. Yeah, I wanted to make it work, but it's not working. Go all in. Stop playing not to lose. But at the end of the day, not going to give up baseball, which has given me so many opportunities and being able to travel so many different countries. She's going to keep hammering you on this, so be done. I'm a chill guy, Mac. I'm a chill guy too, myself, actually. So you're susceptible to women like this that are browbeaters, that are, you have to do this, you have to do that. I remember I had a girlfriend whose mother was kind of like this. First couple, and she's a nice lady, sweet lady, good mom. Very big on telling you what you have to do. You have to do this, Mac, you have to do that. I stopped for a minute, I said, excuse me? I have to eat, sleep, and drink water to live. But all those, so she kept going on. She had a small business. I'm not going to say what the business was. And she was, saying how she's not good with computers and stuff like that. I said, oh, you have to learn computers. Mm-hmm. You have to learn how to use email. And her face just was like, I don't want to be with anyone that tells me what I have to do. I like being with my family. I'm on my purpose in life. I love traveling. There's no much to see in the world. I'm not chasing or begging or being needy for her back. I've told her, if you want to be a part of my journey, great. Don't even give that option. That's where you're wrong. Lock the door and don't look back and go out the back door. If you want to be a part of my journey, great. I would love to have you, but you don't want to be with me, this journey, that's okay. She wants to be with you, but on her terms. So when you say, if you don't want to be with me, that's not the problem. She wants to be with you, but she's got some terms. The terms don't relate to you. We both want the same things. No, you don't. She wants it now. I'm not able to provide that for her other than living together at the moment. But here's the thing. The way she's negotiating, because all relationships are negotiation. I want this, this, and this. I want that. When you're in a relationship, you negotiate your fucking weekends, dude. When you live with a woman, whether you call that marriage or not. I haven't been married, but I've lived with 3 different women for multiple years. Great relationships. You negotiate your fucking weekends. Hey, Saturday, we're both off. I want to go to this place for dinner. I want to go to my family's. I want to go here. Now, for me, I've always been in relationships where I value a lot of freedom and independence. So if I want to go do my thing, I don't get hassled about it. That's just something I filter for. That's not luck. Friends have told me, oh, you're lucky that you found a woman like that. No, that's something I identify early on. My parents were the same way. So that's usually your model. My dad would go away often on his own. My point is, if you get into a long-term relationship with this woman, this is just the beginning. Every time you don't do what she likes, she's going to hammer you. Run, don't walk, I would say. We both want the same things. No, you don't. She wants it now. I'm able to provide it to her other than living together at the moment. But other than that, I want to make sure our relationship is good before we move in together. Well, if it's already bad, there's already browbeating, there's already finger pointing, there's already you have to do this. The minute you move in together, it gets much worse. You move in together because it's rose petals and wine glasses. You move in together because it's peaches and cream. You move in together because you go, we're staying at each other's house every day already. You're finishing each other's sentences. You're having a good time. You might have a couple arguments, but you make up right away. You should have at least a 2-year honeymoon phase. But moving in together with this kind of climate, no bueno. Why is she still around after these 6 months? It sounds like she doesn't have very many other options. Number 2, she somehow thinks that she can talk you into what she wants. She still loves you, probably. She's still attracted to you. She still sees you as a catch. She wants to lock you up. And you're giving her winces of hope by saying, yeah, I want that, but not right now. And you're being reasonable and you're being chill and you're talking to her. You're taking her phone calls. And she thinks that she can turn you. Because you haven't been definitively like, I'm done. Is all this one big test? I don't even know what to do with that question, to be quite honest. Yeah, I don't know if it's a big test. I would say this. She wants to get married and have kids. She's 29 years old. Until you do that, you are going to reap hell from her. But here's the thing. What's next? I got a client right now, great lady. She's in her early 30s. I believe she's about 33, 34. She's with a guy that has 2 kids, a couple years older. And she's pissed because he's got 2 kids. She's down to be like the stepmom type. She's there for the kids. And she's like, I want to have my own kids. Right? So she's paranoid about that. She's 32, 33 years old. She's healthy. She loves him. And they've been together like a year and a half. And he's like, I'm not ready to have another kid right now. I have 2 already. So we've talked about it in live coaching sessions. It's like, look, you're still 33. If you don't want to give up on this relationship, you still have 4 or 5 years easily that you could have a kid. And you said you only want 1, really. That's okay. Are you willing to give him time to get to know you a little bit longer and possibly have a kid with you in the future? Because he didn't say no. And that's what you have here. She's not willing to wait and think about it. She wants what she wants right now. And I'm saying, this woman I'm dealing with now, I said it's a choice. Do you want to give up the relationship on the idea that he can't guarantee you a kid right now? Or would you like to give it another year or so and see what happens? And she's like, I want to give it another year or so. And just put having a kid on ice for a year because you're still fertile. You're 33. It's not the end of the world. Is she expecting me to give up playing? Yes. I think you know that. I don't know if you're looking for a different answer. And I think the answer you keep giving is, I won't, I don't want to, I won't, I don't want to. Pro baseball, that's prestigious anywhere in the world. Good for you. Like I said, Bull Durham, all of it, all of the above. You will miss the hell out of that. You will have contempt for this woman if you give in. She still contacts me every day. She wants me to chase her, but I'm not. Okay, so where's your power? I would find it extremely annoying if a woman contacted me every day, even if she was my ex, and we want directly different things, and then she's telling me how stupid I am, or I should quit my dream, or I should get married when I don't want to. I would find that extremely annoying, negative, and by the way, it could affect your career. It could affect, your swings at the plate. She wants me to call, but I don't call because I don't want to argue or hear negativity. I've gone no contact 3 times, but she calls first. Block her number. That's your answer. I want to block her number, but that's not me. Why is it not you? Blocking a number is not hurtful. It's taking back your power. If you're ever going to move on, every time this woman contacts you, you don't have the ability to hang up on her. You don't deal with her manipulation well. This is your only option. What's the alternative? I don't like being in this in-between stage. I'm tired of it. It's been 6 months back and forth, same arguments, hot and cold, push and pull. Then be done. All during these 6 months, I've gone out and met girls and get drinks, nothing serious, so I don't think I'm in my room on Saturday night with a tub of ice cream. Ha, ha, ha. Thanks for reading this letter, Max. Sorry, it's a little too long. No, it was great. You were very honest and upfront. Any advice is appreciated. I think I just get it. I can write back again and give you an update. Oh, of course. I would like that. Bottom line is you have more power than you think. You know you don't want this woman long term, but you're allowing her to manipulate and call you and manipulate and call you. Philip Carlson, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for checking in. I think you can relate to this, my friend. Sometimes, and here's the thing. You keep explaining yourself. Here's the thing about this whole situation, this whole story. It's an opinion on who to be and what to do in your late 20s. Someone at 29 goes, hey, Aleph, you're getting old now. You got to get married and you got to have kids. You got to get a professional career. You can't just be a photographer your whole life. Says who? You?
Yeah.
Right? You know what? Says who? You? Now, I will say this. If you got a kid, there's certain things that I think that you got to do. Even then, it's an opinion, though. I do think you need to make more sacrifices for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
We gotta have more responsibility for our kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's certain circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, you're in your late 20s. You're still a free agent. You still got confidence. You're a pro ball player. Bet on yourself. And this idea, oh, I don't want to block her because that's not me. Well, change that part about you so that you can be the person you want to be. Is that a good close? Thank you.
He had opportunity to go overseas, which is I would like to do that.
He likes it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If you would have went overseas during this coronavirus, you wouldn't even be dealing with this right now. You guys would have already been broken up. Mm-hmm. You would have already shut her off because you'd been in different time zones. You wouldn't have been negotiating this. It's because that you didn't get to play this year that this is even being entertained. Mm-hmm. And like I said, even if you can't go black and play pro ball next year for coronavirus or whatever, who knows? There's a lot of uncertainty right now. You still probably want to be a part of baseball. And it sounds like that's not a very big deal to her. So, right? Don't get involved in negotiations like this. I have to do this. I have to do that. No. I got to drink water. I got to eat. I got to sleep to live. Everything else is my choice. Thank you. Okay, let's get into the live stream a little bit here. I got one more story on deck. And let me know if you guys have any opinion on that. I kind of went on a tangent. He wrote a long story, and I had to give my take. So if you want to give your story in, if you like the way I give my take, write your story out just like this gentleman did. Go to writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com, and send your story in. If you want to join the Discord, the link's up above. And if you want to go to my Instagram, it's Coach Mac McCarthy. So send your story in, get it in, and we'll do a breakdown like I just did right now. So let me check in with everyone. Oh, Johnny's on deck first and foremost. Sess, this is so cool, Coach. My first live stream. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Sess. You're good people. Roller Girl, Damian Castillo retracted his memory. Nick Lendell, Saturn's return? I'm going to look that up. As my ex is 28, she is going through what seems like a quarter-life crisis. It's one of those things, I'm not big on astrology, but when you read it, it basically says that this is the real adulthood. That this is when you really become a man or a woman. And if you're not where you want to be, there's going to be some spins, some turns, some crisis. It certainly was true in my case. And you could believe it or not believe it, but a lot of people say at 28, it's a turning point. Does no contact work on a situationship? I don't know what that means, Nolan. I was seeing and involved with this girl for the course of a year, but never fully committed to her. She asked for a break and started seeing someone else. So I would say you were seeing each other casually, friends with benefits, never fully committed. That means that the gate was always open for both of you. Whether one of you wanted the other more, no one stepped up. And the fact that she's seeing someone else, is she serious about that person? Are you open to being another guy on her stringer? Are you seeing other people would be my question. So if you're just seeing her, but she's allowed to see multiple people, is that what you want? I don't know if you need to go no contact, but you need to get straight what you want, what you're willing to accept, and then make that no contact situation. If seeing her with someone else hurts you or makes you reactive or emotional, then I would go no contact. If you're okay with her seeing someone else and you can continue being casual with her, then that's fine. If you want to declare your love for her and wish that you guys were together, probably not the time. Probably a little too late for that. Zuki818 says, 2021 is your year, Coach. I'd have to agree, Aleph. I just told Aleph earlier today, I said, this is going to be a good year. He's like, what?
I just hear gear. He said good gear.
This is where the English as a second language comes in.
Yeah, so that's
I'm like, oh wow, Aleph, you're really on 2021. Zuki, I appreciate it. Like I said, I agree. We're gonna take off this year. I got good things coming. So do you, Zuki, Colorado's finest. You're in jail cell with the key. Right on, Coach Mac. It's the truth. It's a scary time for a lot of people to be single. The other side of Boston, 617. Yeah, sure. I'll buy it. It's a scary time for a lot of people to be single anyways. I get it because of coronavirus. Is that what you mean? Or the economy? Mm-hmm. If it's a scary time to be single for anyone, you got to ask yourself as an individual why it's scary for you. Mm-hmm. And this is nothing against you, the other side of Boston, 617, but people generalize things about themselves to make themselves feel better instead of to get into action and go, how am I going to break this fucking down to feel better for myself? You can't take on the world. You can't take on, well, everyone's scared of being single right now. I have plenty of clients that like being single, that are embracing it, that feel like they're better off. So let's just unpack it. The other side of Boston, 617. May I ask you this direct question? Why is it scary to be single right now for you? If that's too direct, let me know. Philip Carlson, the legend, continues. Happy New Year, buddy. Women should not waste much time on a guy that is not willing to marry. Says who? Linda Daniels? Linda, if that's what you want, all the more power to you. If it's your goal to get married, I get it. I have a lot of clients that are women that are in their early 40s. They're very married to the fact of getting married or letting a guy know, I want a serious relationship. I don't want to waste my time. I say, look, before you can get to that point, you still need to go out and have fun and get a connection. Wanting a guarantee before you start sounds like a contract. Like, hey, I would like a warranty on this date. I'd like a money back guarantee. I'd like a guarantee that you're going on this date with me because you want to be my boyfriend for the next 10 years. Is that true or not true? It's like, guy's going to go, can't make that commitment. Oh, I knew you weren't serious. You know what I mean? Can we just go out on a date and have fun? No.
Well, if a girl says something like that to me, I would say, I would like to spending time to know you more before we get commitment.
Oh, I knew you were never serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just out there. It's like, but here's the thing, Linda Daniels, for you, marriage is important. For this woman in that story, marriage is important. The guy, what he keeps coming back to is, I want to get married, just not now. So that's a timing issue. Uh-huh. But what people don't realize is you don't want to break off from what you want to do timing wise. I mean, there's a woman in my past, probably if that was my girlfriend again, I would seriously consider getting married. But timing wasn't right. I don't know. There's possibilities there. All right, let me go into the next story. We got 53 minutes on deck. We have 16 people on deck, 7 likes. I appreciate you all. There is a place if you'd like to donate. I would appreciate it. If you don't, that's okay. You can still ride on the show. Right? There's a tip jar, but this bus is free. So let's get into the next live story. I might have to make a 53-minute mark. This is much shorter. Again, if you'd like to share your breakup story, go to writemac.com, send it in. I can get my take in a video like this. Hi. My ex and I were together for 3 years. Okay, thanks for the timestamp. We broke up once before, about a year and a half into the relationship. So if you broke up once in 3 years, that's not so bad. If you break up multiple times, that's a playbook, and that's a way that people negotiate to win or lose a relationship. So it's always a red flag when someone goes, well, I'll break up with you. And then someone goes, well, don't break up. And then the person wins the argument. That's a bad way to be. One time in 3 years, I can dig it. It's okay. We had a very rocky beginning to the relationship at the beginning. Rocky beginnings I don't like because that means you should start out very good. That's not a good thing. I tried to push him away, sometimes saying mean things I didn't mean or having emotional outbursts. Okay, so we have to get to the bottom of why that's a playbook for you. You haven't mentioned that. You haven't mentioned your age. But why would you push him away saying mean things I didn't mean or have emotional outbursts? Saying mean things you didn't mean means that, why are you doing that? I'd have to ask you in a live coaching. We have to get to the bottom of that. That's not an individual thing about this guy. That's something that you do in relationships to get your way, possibly. And you probably learned that from the relationship you had with one of your parents or how your parents dealt in relationships. We got together after 4 months apart. Okay, it was a lot better this time around and less fighting, although we did fight sometimes. What I would ask you is, what are you fighting about? Is it jealousy? Is it money? The idea that you just fight to fight, or do you have specific things that you fight over that you can't agree upon? So the last story we just went over, it's very specific. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I don't want you to move overseas for a year. So those are the things you fight over. No one's giving in, so you just continue to fight. During the last 3 weeks of the relationship, we began fighting more often. He brought up things that he said I needed to change or else he would leave. I got nervous and defensive, so I felt like I froze instead of fixed things. Okay, what are the things he's asking you to fix? He said that I yelled, which I did sometimes, and that he felt unloved and unappreciated. Those are really big things to say. That sounds like one of those situations, I hear it a lot from men, where they feel like they're walking on eggshells and nothing they do is appreciated. And women can get into a zone where they're just, that means that you're trying to be a bit controlling and you're a pretty negative individual. I believe that he thought I was directing my attention to other people instead of him as well. Did he tell you that, or that's what you believe to be true? During the last 3 weeks, I wasn't loving towards him. He would ask to cuddle, for me to put the phone down and give him attention and things like that, and I did not. Why did you not? I felt emotionally exhausted. Why did you feel emotionally exhausted? So this would be, if you want to do a live coaching session, we got to get to the bottom of these things that are deeper than probably your relationship. This has to do with something in your past, maybe your first relationship, or like I said, why are you emotionally exhausted? When we broke up, he said that he was leaving because of me. That's a pretty broad topic. I apologize. I said I heard you apologize for being you. Okay. I said I heard and understand how he feels and that I would change. How would you change? I said that I was going to therapy and that I would be different. Do you want to go to therapy? Or are you going to therapy just to get your ex back? Two different things. Do you know why you're going to therapy, specifically on what you want to work on? Very important. He said that he used to see the future with me, but my actions changed that. He said that he was done, and that when someone says they're done, it's a very strong statement, and you should listen. And that I should learn my lesson for the next person. I didn't start no contact until a month and 3 weeks after the breakup. I begged and pleaded, but he remained firm in saying he was done the entire time. Again, someone that says they're done, it's very definitive. He deleted me, my friends, and family off social media. He was also on dating apps within 3 weeks out of the breakup. I don't think the whole relationship was bad. Well, if it was 3 years, the whole relationship wasn't bad. I supported him emotionally and at a time where he was going through a really tough time, which he mentioned, so it appears that he is already aware of the good and the bad things. Do you agree with what he says is bad? We also talked about future plans often. However, he says now that there was more bad than good. Do you believe that to be true? I don't know if it's possible that I leave him alone. He might miss me. Is it over for good? I would need to know more details if you want to divulge that in a live coaching session. From what you've told me, just a little gnat. From what you've told me so far, I'm going to be directly honest. If he's told you more than once and he's on dating apps 3 weeks later, he's told you it was really bad, he says it's you, sounds like he's done. You begging and pleading will push him away further and further. If he was going to come back and change his mind, it wouldn't be because you explaining yourself. It wouldn't be because you promised to go to therapy. It would take at least 6 months to a year, and it would be him checking in and just seeing how you've been, how you are. But right now, he's not going to believe you're a different person anytime soon, and the person you were in the relationship was more bad than good, and so he's not going to revisit anytime. Is it over for good? It's never for sure over for good in any relationship. It's just a matter of it's over for now. And he's stated that to you multiple times. And him saying I'm done, him being on dating apps, him telling you why, him saying that he's unloved and unappreciated. These are strong things. And you can't turn those things around immediately by just saying, I love you, I want you back. I'll go to therapy. He's not going to bite on that. He's going to have to see what it's like to be single. He's going to have to explore that, and you're going to have to give him that freedom to do that, and he'll gain respect from you by giving him that freedom, because right now he expects you to beg and plead. And that's a turnoff. That's not attractive. That's not listening to him. So if he ever was going to come back, which is always a possibility, it wouldn't be begging and pleading. It wouldn't be you declaring all the things you're going to do to change. It would you actually be going out and working on yourself, whatever that may be, this therapy for whatever that may be, actually taking inventory of the relationship and going, I tried to push him away sometimes, saying mean things I didn't mean or having emotional outbursts. Why do I do that to people? Because I'm sure you don't just do it to him. I'm sure you've done it to other people. And really get to the bottom of that behavior. And then it's going to take time to change that about yourself. But you don't do it for him. But on the flip side, it's a bonus that if he did call you back 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months down the road, you'd be in a position where you feel really good about yourself. And if you don't change those things for him, the next partner, if he's a good guy, will leave you also. What guy wants to feel unloved, unappreciated, or deal with someone that says mean things they didn't mean, or have emotional outbursts? These are your words. Or try to push them away. So you've got some issues you're aware of here. You got some issues you're aware of here, and you got to deal with them. This has nothing to do with getting him back. This has to do with you getting to work on yourself. And by writing what you wrote, reread it and go, if I had an older brother or cousin or someone that I was close to, and some woman wrote this story, would I want my older brother or my younger brother to be with a woman like this that talks this way? Because you probably don't even realize when you're pushing them away or saying mean things you didn't mean, you don't even realize you're doing it. You're subconsciously just machine gunning that action out. And so now the breakup is giving you an opportunity to go, oh shit, maybe I wasn't a great partner. Maybe I did do some bad things. Maybe I need to take some accountability. This isn't a time to beat yourself up and cry and plead and beg. It's a time to take a look in the mirror and take an honest self-assessment of your life right fucking now and go, I don't want to be like this anymore, whether it's with him or someone else. I don't want to have emotional outbursts. I don't want to say mean things I didn't mean. That's a big statement to make, by the way. Saying mean things I didn't mean. No one's perfect, right? But if you're in a relationship and someone says, I feel unloved and unappreciated, was he making something fair to that? I mean, some of the things he said here, he didn't take shots at you. He's saying he was very unhappy with who you are and the way you act. Now, here's the good thing. You got control over that in the future, but you can't change it in a day. That's the thing. You can't go, I'm going to go to therapy and I'll do this and I'll be better. No, you won't change. There was no consequences. This breakup had to happen for you to take an assessment of your own life, who you are, where you're at, and what you want to do. And now you have the opportunity to go, I want to work on these things. And the best time to work on these things is when you are alone. Okay? So I hope that helps you. Linda Daniel says, this guy's on point. Love his advice. Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Hey, my friend, glad to see you're doing well. I will set up a session this week so we can catch up. Oh, and I'm great. I believe you, Philip, because you're good people. Philip's a legend. Wow, right at 12 o'clock on the dot, 12 p.m. Al's stomach's grumbling.
I have my own lunch now.
You brought lunch today?
I made my own lunch.
You brought it?
I made it.
What did you make?
Omelet and rice.
Oh, okay. All right, folks, I'll open it up for a little bit for questions. Thank you for sending in your stories, the two individuals that did. Please feel free to send in your story to writemac.com if you want me to unpack it in a live stream. If you want to join the Discord, here it is again. It's an open discussion. I think it's a really cool platform. It's Coach Mac McCarthy. We can you can join that right now today. It's free. If you want to go to Instagram, Coach Mac McCarthy, post some videos, post some quotes there. And again, writemac.com if you want to send your story in or book a live coaching session. Roller Girl, Sess. So we had 11 on deck. It's been very, very, very good today. I really appreciate the stories that did come in. And it's really the first part of you as individuals out there in a breakup getting clear about what happened. It's not necessarily going to cure you of feeling sad or upset or angry, but you can get a little bit clear on what happened and get an outside take.
Both story they have the same theme, like the turning point of love life. Both of them, I mean the girl side, they don't appreciate. For this first one, she doesn't appreciate what he is, and the second one is the guy cannot take it, like he done with who the girl is.
I think they're a little bit different. The first story was more, she's very clear on what she wanted, and he's very clear that he's not ready to do that now. So he feels like it's hard because, and he considers himself a chill, patient person. So it's very important when you read something like this or when I do a live coaching session, how someone talks about themselves is very, very telling about their actions. So if he's involved with someone that's pushy, that really wants what they want, and he's chill and patient, he's going to take a lot of shit. And he's thinking he's being a good guy, but in reality, he's just pushing himself further and further away from what he really wants. Does that make sense? This woman in the second one, to give her credit, she was honest about her faults, like and what the guy thought, because it's not very flattering what she wrote. Doesn't make her look good. But the guy wrote twice that he's done. He cut her off on all social media. And if she agrees with what he said about her faults, then she needs to go to work on them. But the one thing that was similar, Aleph, is that they were both clear breakups because people are going in different directions. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like you guys have different points of view. You're going in different directions. It's not working. Both of these breakups had to happen. And then one person thinks, well, let's get back. Why not give yourself a chance being single? Sometimes you got to go into a relationship fast where you just don't have a relationship for a little while. Any closing questions, folks? Any closing questions? Hour and 7 minutes in. I'll give you a few minutes. We'll put some music on in between, like a little intermission. Go ahead and shoot the questions. I wonder if the questions come in delayed. You think so?
Maybe.
I wonder how long it takes for a question to come in.
2 or 5 minutes, I think.
Well, it was funny because one time, because being in Thailand, a lot of the people are in America that are on the live stream, not everyone, but someone sent me an email one time, and I told you before, they were on the live stream. The email took they're like, just sent it. And you never think, how long does it come? How long does it take? Does it make a difference when someone sends an email? Does it make a difference when someone sends an email from a far, far away place, how long it gets to you, or in the live stream? Curious, huh? But the guy that sent this email a while back out of the live stream, it did take like 10 minutes one time. I was like, okay. I guess it's kind of amazing to think how email even works, huh?
Yeah.
A message goes through the sky. It's wireless. Like, no one would have been able to explain this shit in the 1900s, right? Except for Tesla. Tesla thought about this kind of stuff.
I think an engineer guy or someone who know really well about internet, they have reasonable to answer that question. I don't really know how to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like people will be like, whenever someone comes up with something that you don't know, you're like, there's a lot of things I don't know how to explain that we just use and we do, right? I told you before, being a teacher for years, and the word island, why do we have an S on island? Just, I don't know. A lot of people say Iceland when they first read it, or Island. And there's no S. It's like, I don't know how to explain that. Maybe someone can explain that. There's something to that, right?
Yeah, different dialect in language. Because the first time when I saw island word, I read Eastland.
Yeah, well, that's reasonable though. Like I don't know. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean you're stupid. Someone's like, ha ha ha, you read it wrong. It's like, no. If I read it for the first time and didn't know, I would do the same thing.
It's not just that. Even in Thai word too, there is like we have alphabet and the sound, right? That to combine to make the word. Some sound when we put in the word, it could be different sound, but it's not how to read like that.
All right, we got a question that's good. Cesp, why does it seem easy to tell others what to do with their relationships, yet when it comes to our own, it's harder? I agree. I'll include myself in that. I'll tell you one that's interesting, Cess, that just happened recently. I have a close relative of mine that I'm very close to, that's in the middle of a breakup, and I was talking to her, and I it's different. I'm biased. I'm like, I feel more upset, more. When I say emotional, I'm not saying crying, but you know what I mean by emotional. Like, yeah, more upset, more like fuck this guy, like, because it's someone I'm close to, right? So I'm not able to look at it as reasonable. Where I was just in a coaching session, and the client she's a woman in her 30s, and she's cool. She's a smart lady, and we've done coaching together before. We're close. She's come to me numerous times, and she respects my opinion, but she's tough. And she's just going on and on about her boyfriend, and she's pissed. And some of it's a little bit overreacting, but some of it's, I'm listening, and then when we're in a live coaching, I'll interject, and you want me to give my opinion, you want me to tell you what I think. And it's a lot different when you're my client and I just know you from your relationship issues, and I could just judge what's going on from that. Where if I know so many different things, right, it's harder. And I think that when you're to get to your question, Seth, I believe that when you're dealing with yourself, even though we talk to ourselves, are we honest with ourselves? Right?
Yeah, it's remind me when Josh gonna just like case by case, cause when Josh did that, it's like
like a judge in the court,
like a judge in the court. It's like the point of view in the third person is different in between one or two that have fight together. So because they look in outside, that's why they could see more what person A or person B see.
Okay, so let me break this. I know what you mean. Here's the thing: if a judge is ruling a case and their daughter's in the case, the daughter will probably win.
Yep.
Okay. If a judge is able to use some of his connections and pull for his own case, right? So let me put this in another one that's really interesting, Sess. It's a good question. I totally understand. And that's why people pay me, because they want an outside point of view that's not biased and honest. People tell me all the time, be honest with me, please. But at the same time, I'm always going to put in good intentions and honesty. Like I want to help you. Like I've told this lady I was just helping recently, I forgot what I was going to say, but I got off topic. She was seething. She was so upset. She's crying. She's upset. I said, you are seething right now. We started to laugh about it. And I'm like, just relax. You're so upset. Are you thinking reasonably? No, it was all emotion. And we got to a point, and I said, are you just trying to make a point and win an argument, or are you thinking about what you want? Because if you think about what you want, you're taking the wrong approach. She wanted to come up with like batting him over the head over and over again with all the things he did wrong. And I'm like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? There's always a different approach you can take. But when you're emotional, some people like to fight. When you're emotional, some people have to win. When you're emotional, some people want pity. And everyone's different. But it clouds reason for men and women. Women tend to be more emotional than men, but there's men that are emotional too, right? So let me get to this idea, Seth. This is a really good way to put it. So I used to be in residential real estate when I was in my 20s, my mid-20s. Residential real estate means that, just for you, Aleph, basically you sell people's homes. And I was in a market in the San Francisco Bay Area that's expensive too. Even, 10 years now, it's really, really expensive. Anyhow, I was young. I had done sales before, but I'd never done houses. People's homes, rather than land or commercial property, it's highly emotional. They live there. So it wouldn't matter who they were, where they were from, how reasonable they are. 90 to 80% of people believe their house or their condo is worth more than you tell them. So you'd go over to the house, they'd go, hey, I want to sell my house. I'm going to interview you, and I'm going to interview some other real estate agent. Okay. The agents always do the same thing, as far as I know. Maybe it's different now. But in California, you had access to other houses that sold in your neighborhood within the last 6 months to a year. Those are the houses that are going to give us the price of your house. So if there's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, we look at what other houses are comparable, and then we go, this is how it's priced. This is how it's going to price at the bank, because they're going to use the comparable. So it's very easy to give you a range of what your house is worth. Your neighbor sold his house for $1 million. The guy across the street sold it for $900,000. Your house is 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This one's 4-bedroom. You could gauge it with reason and math. You go into someone's house, they always think their house is worth 10 or 20% more because they want to believe that, number one. Number two, it's money. Everyone wants more money. So they would go through the house and go, look at the granite countertops. My husband put in that tile floor. A lot of that shit doesn't matter that much. Bedroom and bathroom counts, location, lot size. And so you'd go, no, it's probably between here and here. Well, no, I think it's worth this. Why? Because you're biased. Individuals believe what they want to believe, Seth, and that's human. Now, if you talk to someone like myself or you talk to someone you trust, and it could be, by the way, it was interesting. I was watching a David Hawkins video. He wrote the book Letting Go. And he was talking to this guy, and he goes, a lot more people should have spiritual counselors. And I didn't know what he meant, but he goes, back in the day, people would go, not everyone was Christian or Catholic, but they'd go to confession to the priest. Why did they have this? People need to talk to other people that are gonna listen to them and be honest with them, because a lot of people aren't honest with themselves. And then it takes you, and people go, no, I am. No, you're not. And it was really great in the book, You Can't Hurt Me, by David Goggins, that I keep going on and on about, is he had a moment at like 17 years old, and he's like, I looked in the mirror, and he's like, I shaved my head, and he goes, I just made an accountability list of everything I need to be accountable in my life. He goes, I was a bad student. He goes, I was like, you're fucking stupid. Now, a lot of people would be like, that's a little harsh, David. He goes, no, you're fucking stupid. You're dumb. You've been cheating off other people for the last couple of years. So what did he do that year? Worked his ass off in school, got better grades. He goes through all these things that he was being dishonest with himself. And we all do it, myself included, Seth. So what I do as a coach, I don't tell you you're stupid. I'm not that harsh. But I'm your accountability person. I'm your person that goes, hey, let's get all the puzzle pieces out on the table and let's try to put this thing together. And I want you to put it together, but at the same time, I want to go, hey, didn't you miss a piece? I want to be that person that everyone's on a journey, right? It's fucking cheesy, I know. Everyone's on a journey. Everyone's, on a path. It sounds biblical, right? But I'm not going to be able, this is what people want when they go to the cheap YouTube, I'm not going to say coaches or anything like that, but just the channel that goes, hey, this is how you get your ex back. And I use the title too, because that's what draws people to your videos, honestly. But the reality is, you're in the woods. You don't know how to make a decision. Here's what I want to do. Here's some waterproof matches. Here's a Swiss Army knife. Here's a map. Call me if you're scared, but you still got to get out of the woods on your own. I don't got a fucking helicopter, dude. Do you know what I mean? But the reality is, if you get out of those woods on your own with a little bit of help, as the great Joe Cocker would say, from your friends, if you get out of those woods on your own, it's a beautiful feeling. And you grow so much from that challenge. And there's a lot of people just getting a helicopter out, and it's called meds. Right? But when you get out on your own, you get some help from someone, yeah, you appreciate that person. When I went through my bad breakup, I've been through death in the family and things like that. Every time you get stronger and stronger. Right? Even in movies, when someone's stranded, they get help from somewhere. They get help from somewhere. And so I would say that, yeah, it is harder to take your own advice. Recently I was in a situation where I was like, damn, what are you going to do, coach? I had a little bit of a bad spell like a couple months ago. Great stream, Luna. You might want to go back and watch it today. I think it was a good one today.
Yeah. But
that's why. That's a great question, Sess. And I think that it's okay that you don't give. I'll take it a step further. Sess, I could give advice in my tone and my approach. Someone else could give you the same advice in a different tone and frame it differently, and you don't like it. It's like cooking chicken, right? It's like I like chicken with garlic, butter, some thyme, I like it kind of plain, grilled. You might like the skin on. It's the same thing. It's how the information is framed. Really, right? I read somewhere recently, the best teacher is the one who shows you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. Well, I would say that's how I am.
The best teacher is guide you, not to lead you. Yeah.
I think leading's fine. I think to tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And a teacher should be open to not knowing everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just had someone in the Discord send me a message and ask me about some kind of, I can look it up right now actually. He asked me about some kind of personality test, and instantly I said, I'm not familiar with that. Like, what's it about? You want someone that's your teacher or someone you respect to also tell you, like, yeah, I'm not, I don't know everything. You can show me some things sometimes. I can still give you my opinion after you tell me about it, but it's very important that someone's not a know-it-all or textbook junkie.
During the time that I have a day off on last 4 days, something is keep bugs me, Mac, and I would like to know your opinion. Do you think that I could be ambassador?
You could be an ambassador to Thailand?
Yes.
Why not?
Well, it just keep bugging me because it's like, I told you when I was the first year, right, that I would like to be that, and I quit. No, and I not really quit. I just don't want to keep in that goal because the system about the Thai politics. And for now, I just changed my mind and I just keep asking about myself. Like, could I do that?
You always have more power than you think, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
We always create limitations, and I'll tell you why. I'll answer to you. Because the shit you really want, it takes work.
Yeah, I know.
It takes failure. It takes people being you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it. I have this little YouTube channel where I do this breakup coaching, and it means a lot to me, and I enjoy it. You know how many people when I first started were like, "Oh, well, you better get a master's degree," or breakups, or oh, you're a YouTuber, you're an influencer, or they try to put a box around you. And one of the best compliments I got recently was just someone was like, "Wow, you just kind of did that from scratch and created your own style and everything." Yeah, he's like, "Wow, you know what? For 3 years, 900 videos later, I'm still not at the level of Coach Lee, who gets 15,000 views in 2 days. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, someone's like, oh, you should get more views. I agree. That's not being cocky or arrogant. I believe I'm good at what I do. But I'm not angry about it because I'm not doing something right in the world of marketing or SEO. I'm going to figure it out this year. But at the same time, I've been a teacher also. So I'm splitting into two things. And so I gotta pick one, and I'm picking this. That being said, dude, when you're in your 20s, you got so much time, but you do need to put in the work. The other thing you need to do, and I wish I would have learned this younger, you got to get a mentor or two, and it doesn't even need to be, preferably it's someone that's in that field. And that's the person you go to and go, what do I have to do to get to where you're at? Mm-hmm. And you think, oh, that's so far away. But actually, you can approach people that are ambassadors, and you can go, hey, I'm 23 years old. Can I talk to you for a lunch or something like that? A lot of them would go, yeah, no problem. Some would say no, but what do you got to lose? That's where you'd start, because then they can tell you what you have to do. And then you can really assess, do you want to do that? Then you'd say, hey, can I work in your office? You got to look at the steps. And a good book would be Mastery by Robert Greene, because he talks about finding a mentor. You got it. And when you have, dude, when you go into something that's going to be challenging, but something that's big, and you got small people around you. When I say small people with small dreams, small ideas, a lot of them it's crabs in a bucket. Do you know what that? They're all going to go, oh, you can't do it. Or, yeah, right. Right? Before I moved to Thailand, I had multiple friends. The week before I left, you're not really moving there. They're laughing at me, or they're making jokes about it. I don't even send the pictures out or anything. I don't have anything to brag about. Even when I did Instagram for a little bit, I was showing the sunsets over. It's fucking paradise. But I'm not one of these people like, oh, look at me. I live here. I've lived here for 10 years. It's not something I need to show off on a 2-week vacation, that I live in a, turquoise blue beach nearby my house, because it was already in my head that that's something I wanted to do. I always wanted to live by the beach. I always wanted to live by a beautiful beach, beautiful weather. Never gets old for me. Wow, that must be really cool. Yeah, you could do it too. Not today, not tomorrow. That's the part people don't like. It's not going to happen in a day.
It takes time.
Yeah. So the focus is a part of it, and then bleeding out the people that are going to be like, yeah, right. And visualizing what, you know what I'd add to it? Mm-hmm. You gotta ask yourself. I know before I taught too, I was like, I thought teaching is just going to be so much fun, and I like being in front of the class, all these different, I didn't know exactly why. And then you go and do it, and I was like, fits me like a glove. Breakup coaching, doing what I do now, fits me like a glove. Maybe not everyone likes my approach or something like that. That's what YouTube's for. It doesn't please everyone. But if this is something that comes up again and again and again, explore it. Mm-hmm. Explore it. And it starts with interviewing a few people that are ambassadors and saying, like, what do you have to do? What's the job like? Could I work in your office? That's where I would start. What are the qualifications I need? Like, what do I need? Some fields need qualifications. I didn't have, when I started this journey out with breakup coaching, I don't have a master's degree. I don't work as a therapist. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take everyone's story for free, and then you can judge me. That's how you know what I mean? So you'd probably have to internship somewhere, and you might have to do it for free or really low pay, but that's where you'd start. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then along the way, don't get married or have kids until you become the ambassador.
No, I haven't.
Or else you're gonna have to take 2 jobs.
Yep. Well, it's not keep bugging me, but I just watched something during my day off, and that guy, I just relate to myself because to be an ambassador, the thing that you should have is polite and good communication.
Sure.
So all the back years, last year, is proved me a lot of things that I think that I could not do it, which is not because I can take a photo and I get paid by that,
Mm-hmm.
and I have more confidence on that too.
Well, here's the interesting thing too.
Where I learn a lot. Like growing up more.
I'll give you something further, bro. Sometimes you look at an ambassador and you think, oh, I can't do that because this, and this. But you can reshape a different type of ambassador and a different thing. So, for example, like teaching. Always wanted to teach university. Didn't want to get a PhD in California. Didn't want to do this. I never looked at it for years, and then I was like, oh, I can teach overseas university and not have to get a PhD. Okay, never even knew that was available. That's me reframing and reshaping a dream I had and then combining it with, oh, and I can live near a tropical beach. The other thing, I remember my mom years back, is there something else you'd like to do? I said, I'd like to be a counselor of some sort to people. And I didn't know where I was going to go with that. I reshaped it into this, into creating it into my own thing. That's where we're headed in the future. Everything's going to be a remix. So you saying like, oh, I don't want to do an ambassador in the traditional sense. How can you reframe being an ambassador in a different way? It might take you thinking about it for a little bit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah. So like maybe you don't become an ambassador for a country, but you become an ambassador for a company.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of job, an international company. See how that's different?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny too because I had a job. I had a job at a university over here when I first got here, and it was called Program Ambassador on my business card. So you can sometimes you think, oh, I want to do this job, but I don't want to do it in this way. Then you got to get creative about it. All right, we got 18 on deck, 7 likes. Rob's late. I was wondering. I was like, is Rob getting sick of the show because he probably hears the same stories all the time? Because I do repeat myself, huh, Aleph? Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys. I do my best to keep it fresh. Today was really good, too. Skinner, Rob. Hyun K, that was me, personality test. That was something I think I'll talk about on the next live stream. But that was a very interesting question, Hyun, if I said that correct. That do personality tests play a big role in why you're not together? Are therapists using that? I found that interesting. And I'm looking forward to when you send in your story about that, Hayun, because you said you're probably going to send in your story. I'm looking forward to that. I'd really like to hear how that was implicated. Rather than me just saying, oh, that therapist is an idiot, I'd like to hear more about it and how it was used. That's something that's changed in me as an individual. I'm not quite so judgmental if someone doesn't do what I think is true. I want to know, well, why'd they do that? I'm going to close out this live stream with one story. We got an hour and a half, 18 on deck. This is kind of interesting and funny. Are you ready? Put the music back on for a little bit. A little intermission for me to catch my breath here. But I'm going to pull this up really quick. I was going to share this in another live stream, but why not? We got 18 on deck. Appreciate the donations. Please join the Discord if you want. If you want to join the Instagram, go for it. I got to pull this up. I got to pull this up. I'm so archaic when it comes to social media and stuff. Like check how things work on the like I'm trying to look up a comment I made on someone's post. How do I look that up, Aleph?
What program do you use now?
It's Instagram.
Instagram?
It's like Grandpa's on Instagram or something over here myself. I'm like, how do you look this up, Sonny? I made a comment on a post and I want to pull it up. So we'll show all the comments that I made.
So, to watching on your history on like.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's it. Where's this at?
Actually, I'm looking for an ambassador information how to get that place. It's like beside of majority of language, you had to have majority of politician on that term too.
All right, how do I pull this out? Okay. So 15 on deck. Listen to this. You guys will like this. Thanks for the donations, even though we don't have any donations. Cheap plug. Okay, so I'm like I said, I've only been doing Instagram for a few months, and I'll go through it like each day and like some things and go through some things. So if anyone knows who Charles Bukowski is, he's an author, he's a poet, he's a grimy old man. He's already passed away, but it's pretty dark what he writes. He writes very dark, swears a lot. So I'm on his, whatever you call it, on his page, or follow him, excuse me. So his quotes are always interesting. And they're never like directly, it means this. It means what it means to you. But this is really interesting about Instagram and Facebook, how people believe that they're fucking experts when it's opinion. So the quote was, "People are not good to each other. Perhaps if they were, our death would not be so sad." So I'll say that again. People are not good to each other. Perhaps if they were, our deaths would not be so sad. So I wrote, death isn't always sad. And I meant it a bit sarcastic. So this guy writes back, or woman, excuse me, LOL, you don't get it. Okay, so you're speaking for Charles Bukowski and everyone out there on an interpretation of a quote. Okay. I wrote, I don't get it. Death is only sad because you'll never see that person again. Death will forever be sadness. So someone else wrote that. But I'm sorry, I missed excuse me. So I wrote, death isn't always sad. This person wrote, LOL, you don't get it. I wrote, it's all an opinion. Perhaps no one gets it. They write back, nah, he's just too deep for you. I wrote back, says who? You? Stop trying. And this is one of Charles Bukowski's biggest quotes, is stop trying, which means it's a very deep thing to him because he was trying hard to be a part of society, a postman, but he really wanted to be a writer. And who knows, Charles Bukowski might tell me if he was alive, oh, no, that's bullshit, you got my quote wrong. So they wrote back, yeah, me. My point is, there's a quote thrown up. It can mean 50 different things to 50 different people. Someone says something sarcastic. Someone goes, oh, yeah, you didn't get it, LOL. Who the fuck are you? It's like Charles Bukowski's been dead, I don't know, for over 10 years. He's got all kinds of work that's left for interpretation and opinion. And you honestly think you speak for everyone's opinion on his work? Not to mention that when I make a quote or I make an opinion, that you even understand what I mean by it. You know how many communications, I deal with this all the time with breakup stuff. I just had a client that he's thinking about getting broken up. He's thinking about breaking up. It's great that he came to me because he had all these miscommunications where I was like, wait a minute, are you sure she didn't mean this? But my point is like, yeah, you don't get it. Excuse me? A quote from a guy that's a poet? Yeah, no, you don't get it. Okay. So your interpretation, everything, someone might be like, why do you care that much? It's just this is what happens on social media is people become spectators. We're all spectate. Like when you're following someone's post and they put up a quote, you're a spectator in their arena. So you can go, Oh, nice work. You like it. You don't like it. Here's my comment. You're a spectator. You didn't put anything up that's work that you're getting judged on. But then there's spectators out there that know it all. I know better than you. You don't understand his work. Says who? You? Always remember this, folks. Someone gives you an opinion and they knock down your opinion about something, which were both opinions, which just is what someone thinks. Ask them, says who? You? And if they go, yeah, me. Okay. You speak for everyone? It's a really good question because I have a lot of clients that really get caught up in social media, man. Like, yeah, my friend said this, they said this. Who are they? I mean, even people that I really respect, I can still question their opinion. But I won't say you're wrong or you don't get it. I could say, I think you got that wrong, or I think you misunderstood that. That would be a different way than going, LOL, ha ha ha, you don't get it. It's too deep for you. Interpretation, I'm deeper, I'm smarter than you. Really? I don't think we've ever spoke before. Furthermore, I don't think you've ever spoke to Charles Bukowski, who died in fucking 92. Do you want to play this game, right? It's like, that's what's so interesting about social media, though. People do this, right? It's like sniper spectatorship. You're like hiding, and then you make a comment like that. It would be kind of fun to have situations like this where you go, okay, you made your comment, let's have a debate. Let's have an online debate, right? It would be interesting. All right, folks, we're an hour and 40 minutes in, 17 people on deck, 9 likes. This has been probably the best live stream all year, 2021, and the first, I believe. I took a little bit of a break, right? This is a really good one today. Rob, you got to go back, Skinner. Might want to check it. Luna says he watches all the streams before I fall asleep. That's a fucking compliment. Thanks, dude. 1 hour, 40 minutes in is when you came in? Or you've been on the whole time? Oh, just getting here, 140 minutes, yeah. Chris, you missed it. I aired the stories. I will go back. I appreciate it, Rob. We're going to make some changes this year. I know I'm always talking about it, but I'm feeling good this year. I'm feeling spry. I got juice. No, I've been on for about 20. Okay, just saw that you were live, bub. Yes, sir. Unpacked 2 stories. I'll go back and watch it. Tell me what you think, Chris. Tell me what you think, my friend. $16 on deck, 10 likes. Could make it to 2 hours. I don't know if it's worth it. Alif's stomach's grumbling here. He's got his omelet waiting for him that he microwaved this morning.
I have a big meal for breakfast, so it's not really now. Maybe on 2 o'clock.
I got to go to the bank today. I got to do a couple things. All good, Chris. Thanks for putting yourself out there on that.
Reshape on it, right?
Reshape what?
But we talk about ambassador.
Reshape. Yeah, that's what I said. You could be an ambassador for a company. You can be an ambassador for a brand.
Yep.
You can be an ambassador for rightmac.com. We'll put your face on the yeah, perfect, man. We'll send you around the world. What do you The main thing that draws you to it, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to travel.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's why ambassador is on my choice. It's back in my head.
You can be an ambassador without being a politician.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's positions that are ambassador type positions that you don't necessarily have to be in politics. Right? So that's what I would say. And you're always coming back to wanting to travel. Unfortunately for you, it's a bad time to travel.
Yeah.
But you got time. You're 23, man. Right? 23 or 24?
I'm 23.
Oh, man. And you're sitting in on these live streams, soaking up all this wisdom. Man.
Well,
Well,
look at the bright side. Maybe.
look at the bright side. I'm 23. Everyone on here is, I don't know if there's anyone else that's, Skinner, you're in your early 20s, but everyone's going, look on the bright side. You're 20. You had everyone at 23. Everyone's like, and I remember when you're 23, I didn't have a lot of people like, oh, you're 23 or this, because I was living life, man. Remember I was living on the beach in San Diego. I had a good part-time job at the time that made good money. I was in junior college. No, I just transferred over to college. But I was in a good place at 23. Skinner's 26. But everyone goes, just stop it. You're 23.
So.
Well, I mean, you'll know when you're older. And everyone goes,
Yeah.
oh, man. You know? I don't sit there and go, like I've said it before. I wouldn't want to be 23 or 21 if I couldn't take my wisdom with me.
Mm-hmm.
If I just went back to what I knew then compared to what I know now, I don't think I'd give it up. A lot of people go, oh, yeah, I'd love to be 21 or 23 again. Would you still like that kind of thinking or brain? Not that you were stupid, because some people are making good decisions at 20. You're a pretty mature individual, Aleph. But, I mean, you just gain things through life experience, and you see things differently, and you go, if I could take my knowledge with me, hell yeah, or at least a majority of it.
Mm-hmm.
How soon do you think you should ask a woman to be your girlfriend, Mac? The last date we had shared some intimacy, nothing sexual, but it was filled with great amounts of passion. I'd love to get your take. I actually agree a little bit with Corey Wayne's take on this. I don't follow everything he does, but I think that it's a good idea, especially in your age group in your 20s, for the woman to bring it up. Not necessarily tell you like, oh, we have to get married or anything like that. But you shouldn't bring it up. I think you could still see each other, have a good time, show each other good attention, and don't make it a big issue yet. I think that she'll bring it up at some point, and that's a good place to be in. Even if she's like, well, what, like, I don't want to just be casual or this or that, then you can have that chat then. Looking at my own relationships, usually it's been brought up by the other, well, I even had one relationship where the woman was, in the beginning, we were dating, we liked each other. She was very shy in the sense that she had a serious relationship that didn't work out, and she didn't want to seem official. She like, I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to be. And I was like, no problem. We were having good dates. We were having good fun. We were exclusive. I didn't need a label to it, and so that lies in the individual. And I would just say, let it flow. Yeah, just have a good time, go on good dates, and that conversation will come up organically rather than, should we talk about this or is it too early? You're in a good place right now, and when the time's right, you'll feel it, and she'll feel it, and I think that you'll know when it's right rather than trying to make it right. Does that make sense? Give it a few more dates if you're questioning it right now. Have a little bit more intimate moments. Kind of stack up that positivity into a time when you're like, oh, I know it's right. And it sounds like she's comfortable with the pace of it right now, so why put a label on it? I've dated 3 girls, never asked them to be my girlfriend, just naturally grew without a label. I've been with 4, and I would say I'm the same way, Chris. I'm the same way. Let her bring up the relationship. I'm the same way, and I don't mean that. Some guys would think like, well, when is she going to bring it up? Or it'll come up. It'll come up, and it'll come up on her own, and it's nice for her. It sounds counterintuitive. It's nice for her to think, like, does he want this? It actually creates a little bit of lust. And it's not like you're trying to play a game, but I think that that's the way to go. I'm with you too, Chris. And by the way, I'm not a pickup artist or anything like that. I never hung my hat on that. But I've never done that as a playbook. That's just how I am. Like, oh, let's just keep dating, and why put a label on it? And then when it comes up, and it feels right, it feels right. I agree with Chris. It creates a little bit of mystery, but it's not games. You have to know yourself too. Are you playing a game, or are you just going, I just like going out on dates with you and having fun, being present? And then you'll both kind of just fall. It just falls naturally into like, we're together. All right, Luna, good question. We're at an hour and 49 minutes, 16 people on deck, 10 likes. It has been a very good live stream. If you guys didn't watch this one, the stories that were sent in were really good. And some of the things we went over were really good, I think. So I appreciate it. I'm starting to get a little parched. I didn't bring any water to the table today. So I'm just going to end it with the Discords up there, if you guys want that. And rightmac.com is up there.
Have you put the link on the Discord on your live stream?
Yeah, 3 times.
Okay.
I'm on it this year. We're going to be more accessible, less archaic. We got the Discord, we got IG. And then if you really want to do a live coaching session, which I highly recommend, and is always guaranteed to give you your money back if you don't find it useful or helpful, send your story and let's unpack it. I got a live coaching tomorrow morning booked about an hour ago. All right, folks, it's been good. It's been grand, and it's going to... Windy Dawn comes in at the end. I appreciate you, hun. Happy New Year. Thanks for always being a follower of the channel and supporter. I appreciate it. At any time when you want to do that live coaching session, just let me know. I think you got my email. It's still on deck, huh? It's curtains.